Sri Lankans have decided to travel abroad to better enhance their careers or to maybe achieve better education. I'm not saying that we don't have good education here, but to achieve better education, or maybe because they wanted a change of place. And oftentimes, kids who are brought up in these families tend to have to adjust their lifestyles in such a way to adjust to the culture there, but also to stay connected to our roots. And it's not that easy, even though it seems like it, it's not really that easy to have two cultures and to live by them. But we do have products like us that have been able to do that. And today we have Mithami here with us today to talk about her experiences in living in New Zealand and incorporating the Lankan culture, and also so that she could talk about the differences and how she likes both the countries. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Alrighty. So tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm 15 years old. My full name is Mithumi Anusara Lamahevage, and I came here 6 years ago. No, I was here 6 years ago. Sorry, and yeah.
You say you went to New Zealand 6 years ago? 8 years ago?
No, 6 years ago.
You visited Sri Lanka?
Yeah, after 6 years. But I went to New Zealand when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me a bit about the differences you see within New Zealand and Sri Lanka. It could be like how the countries are, it could be the food, it could be the people, it could be whatever it is that you significantly see between the two countries.
So, the cultures are really different. In New Zealand, it's like the Maori culture, and then over here, it's the Sri Lankan cultures. There's like the Sinhala people and Tamil people and the cultures there. And also with the foods, like the foods are really different here to the foods in New Zealand, and like the flavors, there's a lot of flavors, like the spices and stuff like that in Sri Lanka. Like we use a lot of flavors here, and it's really nice to like have different like varieties of food. Yeah,
that's true. You did visit here 6 years ago.
I lived here 6 years ago.
You lived here 6 years ago. All right, and you're back here after 6 years to visit the country.
Yes.
What are the differences that you see?
So back then when I lived in Sri Lanka, it was more like I felt like safe, and it was really nice, and like people were friendly, and I felt like happy. And like where I lived in Galle, it was like it feels different now when I go. I feel like it was like cleaner and like nicer, and now it's a lot more different to how it was then. Yeah.
Yeah, already, okay. You do know how to speak in Sinhala, so I'm gonna take a bit of a turn there. So I think I would hike at a kaling Lankavi ni hiti. So Lankavi koheda hiti, koheda iskola gie. Ikan fotak iskola.
Mang Lankavi mang New Zealand යනකොට මට අවුරුදු 8යි. මං හිටියේ ගාල්ලේ. මං ස්කූල් ගියේ Sacred Heart Convent. Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough. That's all right. Okay, so speaking about you being in Lanka and you incorporating the culture here in New Zealand, what are your hobbies and what aspects of Sri Lanka do you hold close to your heart?
So my way of staying connected to Sri Lanka is through dance. So I do Udarata, Pahatanata, and Sabaragamu. I do all of those in New Zealand. I do it with a teacher called Nadi Priyadarshini, and the dance group is Dancing Angels. And we do all styles of Sri Lankan dance. And I feel like staying speaking the language, she teaches us in Sinhala. So it's really nice to stay connected to the culture through something that I like doing, and I love dancing, and so that's how I stay connected to Sri Lanka.
Because you are very connected to your Sri Lankan culture, I scored a gihila or principal de kata karala or venema Sri Lankan dancing group kila kata na kiela. ඒක ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් මට explain කරන්න.
දැන් මගේ ස්කෝලේ කවුරුත් දැන් එච්චර මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකන් කට්ටිය එහෙම නෑ. ඒක නිසා මං අර එහෙ ඉන්න ස්කූල් එකේ ඉන්න කට්ටියට ශ්‍රී ලංකන් කල්චර් එක පෙන්වන්න වගේ මං ඩාන්ස් තමයි මං ප්‍රින්සිපල්ගෙන් අහලා මේ ගෲප් එකක් හැදුවේ. ඔව්. Tamil girls ලා ඉන්නවා මගේ dance group එකේ. ඒගොල්ලෝගේ culture එකේ කරන dance උයි මගේ candy and ඒවා ඔක්කොම mix කරලා තමයි අපි dance group එක හැදුවේ. Oh.
That's how you did it. I think that's really sweet of you and I feel like I was even sweeter of your principal to have been okay with you opening up this new dance group in your school, and it's sweet of you to be teaching your fellow students the Lankan culture and how we do things around here, and to promote our country. Basically, it's a different way of promoting your country.
Yeah.
Speaking about promotions, I got to find out that you technically did help your friends change their travel plans to come here, and that your best friend's coming down as well.
Yeah.
So how did that go about?
So my friend, she was going on a world tour. She's going for a whole year. And Sri Lanka wasn't one of the countries that she was going to go to. She was going to stop in India. So I said, you should go to Sri Lanka because there's a lot of things to visit, like Sigiriya and all of those nice places. So she added that to her list, and now she's going to go next year to Sri Lanka. And my best friend, her uncle got married to a Sri Lankan guy. So, no, to a Sri Lankan girl. So they're going to come to Sri Lanka for their wedding kind of. So she asked for places to go in Sri Lanka, so I told her all of those things. And also my friends before have come to Sri Lanka before, and they said that it was a really nice country. It was really beautiful, and the people were really friendly. The only problems were like stray dogs and those kind of things, and foods and stuff. But other than that, everything was perfect for them, and they said that they really liked coming to Sri Lanka.
That's cool. You also do represent yourself as a model in New Zealand.
In New Zealand. I did start doing modeling in New Zealand, actually, and then I wanted to have my cultural kind of outfits and fashion kind of connected kind of into my modeling side. So when I came to Sri Lanka a couple of weeks ago, I did a photo shoot in a bridal Candian outfit, and I'm gonna add that to my portfolio. So yeah.
What do you think about the beauty standards in New Zealand and here in Sri Lanka?
So in New Zealand, there's a lot of diversity. Everyone's different, and there's no problem with beauty standards. But then I feel here, for women, they kind of try to make their face whiter and try to change their skin tone, when we have a beautiful brown color that we should keep. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel that's something that we can actually take into our lives here in Sri Lanka, because a lot of, brown skin is common here. We're all technically brown. Yeah. So a lot of us try to change our skin tone to fit into a beauty standard that we don't belong in, when we could just flawlessly be beautiful in our own skin color, because that's who we are as Sri Lankans, and I feel that we need to be proud of. So I feel that's one thing that we could take from kids living abroad and experiencing those cultures, because we should be able to be proud in our skin and to feel pretty in our skin without having to do excessive things to make ourselves whiter and different. Alrighty, so you've also done some dancing videos and
so I did a Yakubalau dance from Ranwilla
Balakaya.
Yeah, with him. And then when he came to New Zealand, he did he was in our music video, and so and then it went on the Sri Lankan TV channel somewhere. And I also do Sri Lankan dance, so there's videos of me doing it on my teacher's Facebook and YouTube on Dancing Angels. And yeah, so those videos and stuff are on there of me dancing. Yeah.
So you did mention earlier when you went to New Zealand, you were only about 8. So there was a lot of changes that you had to face over there, from like learning the language and to changing how we do things around in our life, which we were used to also not forgetting your roots and like talking and singing at home and whatnot, to doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
How was that experience like? You did mention your friend Lisa also helped around a lot. So
Yeah.
how was that experience like?
So when I went to New Zealand, so my English was fine. It was like I did have like an accent kind of. So my friend, her name's Lucy, she helped me with like my accent, with my English and everything. And she was kind of just there for me through like the whole of the time that I was in New Zealand, and like making friends and stuff, because it was hard because of skin tone and stuff like that. So yeah, my friend Lucy was kind of there for me for this whole time. Like, yeah.
And why you're able to talk Sinhala is because your parents talk to you
and also like my dance teacher, she doesn't like to teach in English because she wants us to stay connected to our Sri Lankan culture. So she speaks in Sinhala, and that's how we learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So you do a lot of these things, right? I mean, like, you experience all of these cultures, you try to do dancing, you try to do modeling, you try to do all of these creative things out there, but what is your true passion? What do you want to be in the future?
In the future, I don't know specifically yet, but since my dad worked in the Army, in the US Army, I've always wanted to work in the Air Force or like the Army, like that, but not as a soldier, like do like engineering or like medical or something like that.
Okay. You do have a sibling as well. How's your sister like?
She's annoying. She's 11 years old, so yeah.
It's the age.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are her hobbies like? And
she does a lot of sport. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She also does Sri Lankan dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she does Bollywood and all those things.
Nice.
Yeah.
You do sports as well?
Yeah, I play basketball and I play football, and I also do like athletics. So the ones that I'm good in athletics is like 100 meters and 200 meters. Yeah.
We do have a runner here in the house. Alrighty. So obviously your parents had to play a huge role in you adapting to all of this, right?
Yes.
Why don't we talk about your parents a bit?
Yeah, I feel like without my parents, I probably wouldn't be here right now. They do a lot for me, and like I feel like them taking me to New Zealand was like for me, and like for my education and for me to be better, like a better person kind of, when like things were hard here. So yeah.
All right, so now that you live in New Zealand, how would you describe Sri Lanka to somebody else, or like basically picture Sri Lanka out to somebody?
So as I said before, my friend Lucy, she's always liked the Sri Lankan culture because I've showed her a lot of things. I gave her the Sri Lankan foods. She likes eating cutlets, and she ate Indiapra and stuff like that. And she also came to the temple with us for like Vesak and those kind of stuff. And I take her on trips with my Sri Lankan, like my family friends and stuff. So she can sing like Aurudu songs. She can sing Aurudu songs and stuff. So yeah, I feel like just showing a lot of like culture and giving them foods and like talking about Sri Lanka and like the landscapes and the beauty of Sri Lanka. I feel like that's when people want to like come and visit or, you know more about the culture.
I think that's really sweet of you, and I actually do appreciate you, because oftentimes rather than our kids going abroad and showcasing our culture to other people and like telling them, okay, this is a beautiful country and this is how we do things around here, people tend to be ashamed of their culture rather than try to adapt a different culture, which is all right. I mean, like, that's up to them, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like at the end of the day, okay, we might be living in a different country, but we are Sri Lankans and we shouldn't be forgetting where we come from, right? So, I mean, if you are ashamed of being Sri Lankan, I feel like maybe you haven't really had the proper experience of being a Sri Lankan,
Yeah.
or maybe you haven't been able to experience our culture in the same way that we have. And if that's the case, then we would love to show you around and help you experience our culture the way we have, and maybe you would be proud enough to call yourself a Sri Lankan and connect with your roots the way we have been able to do so. I feel so. Because of that very reason, I do appreciate you for going out of your way to represent Sri Lanka and be like, you know, this is my culture, this is who I am, and not being ashamed of it. I mean, like, there's nothing for us to be ashamed of to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? දැන් ඔයා කාලෙකින් පස්සේ ලංකාවට ආවේ. ආවට පස්සේ ඔයා කොහෙද ගියේ?
මං ගියා Riverson ගියා. Riverson වල තියෙන අර mountains, ලස්සන mountains එහෙම බලන්න යන්න තියෙනවා. And then I went to Sigiriya. I climbed Pidurangala. Yeah, and I saw a lot of like cool like architecture kind of. There was like cool like places. There was like Buddhist where like monks like stayed up in like the rocks and stuff. Those were cool to see. And then I also went to Nimeria like with the elephants. There was something that I noticed in like when I went to see the elephants and stuff. Yeah. So if like tourists are coming to Sri Lanka to see stuff like that, like elephants and like birds and all those kind of things, I feel like we need to make it kind of more like we have to put the animals kind of like prioritize the animals, because when I went, I noticed that like the people didn't really care about the animals. They cared more about taking the photos of them and those kind of things. Because when the elephants were trying to cross the road, people would the buses would go past and like the sounds, or they would like put big music on and those kind of things. And I feel like if Sri Lanka wants more tourism, they should try and make those things better, because that's what tourists come for, like photos, taking photos, but keep the animals safe as well, you know? So yeah.
Tourism is a huge part of our economy, and if we want to strive forward as a country, we need to be able to preserve it. So that was a really good point coming out of you, actually. And how are your parents enjoying? I mean, they're here after a while as well. Do you mind talking about that a bit?
Yeah.
Their names?
My mom's name is Vishmian Rupikau, and my dad's name is Dinesh Lamahemage. So they also like noticed like how people are different now, because tourists, like, they like Sri Lankans because we're really friendly, but then Sri Lankans and like Sri Lankans together, it's like a bit different. So my parents are like, it's a lot different to when we lived here 6 years ago. Yeah.
Alrighty, so how have you been experiencing food? You said there's a huge difference in food, and now that you're in Lanka and you've been eating a lot of Sri Lankan food.
Yeah. I prefer Sri Lankan food because it's like, even in New Zealand, my mom makes like rice and basically like every day. Like, we eat Sri Lankan food when we're there because we can't eat anything else, because we need like spices and flavor and things. I feel like when I went to like fast food places here, they actually have like flavor in the food, and then in New Zealand, like, it's just like salt and pepper, that's all you put in it. And then over there they have like, over here we have like so many different flavors, and it's just nice. It's like, it feels nice to eat like the food here. It feels homey in a way, like eating the food here after 6 years.
That's true. Are you taking anything to go back, like from here?
I think we're taking a bunch of fish because the fish there isn't that great. Yeah. And over here there's like rambutan, and then all these like the fruits are so much better than the ones in New Zealand. New Zealand fruits are also good. They're good.
Just in case someone's watching.
Yeah. But Sri Lankan fruits like mangoes and like rambutan and just all of those just taste really good. And watermelon has a lot of flavor than like over there.
Alrighty, so I feel like from a lot of things that Medumi said, there's a lot that we can incorporate into our lives. For example, I mean, we got the tourist point of view from her, because even if she's a Sri Lankan, she's been living in New Zealand for quite some time, and she's revisited the country. She does see a lot of changes. I mean, there's a lot of things that are rich here in our country, from what she explained, from the food to where we get to visit, to, you know, how beautiful our country is, to the diversity of plants, trees, whatnot. We have everything here. But the only issue we have is that we are not really preserving any of this. We're not really taking care of any of this, because one thing she noticed was wildlife, about how we don't necessarily respect wildlife, because that's a huge part of our tourism, right? Wildlife. People come here to see elephants, they come here to see different kinds of birds and whatnot. So that is a huge part, and as well as cleanliness. I feel like that's something that we need to work on. A lot of people just go throwing around garbage here and there, and that kind of just takes away the whole essence of how beautiful our country is. So I feel like that's some healthy tips that we could take into our lives, where I don't think it needs to change as a whole, but it could start individually, where you as a person decide not to litter, where you as a person decide, I'm not going to harm animals. It starts with you. And eventually we would be able to create a more clean, beautiful country that would be, just waiting for tourists to visit us with wide arms, and would also be able to give them a really good experience. And another thing I feel like we both agree on is that it's not very easy for us to stay connected to our roots being brought up abroad, especially with all the different cultures that we have to grow up with, especially with learning different languages and whatnot. And even so, even after doing all of that, people tend to pinpoint on the little mistakes you make and be like, oh, you're not talking Sinhala properly, or you have a weird accent when you talk Sinhala. But that's not really our fault. It's just how we were brought up. Instead of trying to be appreciative about the fact that you are trying so hard to stay connected to your roots, you're trying so hard to speak Sinhala in however you can, to communicate with people of your country, they're still not being appreciative about it. Have you faced that?
Yeah, I feel like people just need to be understanding, because we speak different languages. So we speak English there, and then we also then we come home and we speak Sinhala. So speaking English the whole day and then speaking Sinhala, it's obviously our accent's gonna change a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like we shouldn't judge people for that. Yeah,
that's true. Because even I've had I do a lot of this, and I've had people be like, oh, why are you faking an accent, or why are you trying to be someone you're not? But this is who I am, and this is how it is, right? But I feel like you need to try to be more appreciative about children abroad, trying to still be Sri Lankan, still speak Sinhala, still do things that y'all do here in the country, and sometimes even do it better. Yeah. Right? Because they're so proud of being Sri Lankan, whereas some of us really aren't. So I feel like we need to step out of that box and try to be more understanding, like she said, try to be less judgmental towards people, and just be loving people like we used to be. And that's actually what we came here to discuss about, the differences, about how we can tell other people about how beautiful Sri Lanka is, so that they could come visit us. I feel like people talk about marketing a lot, but the best way to actually market something is word of mouth. So if somebody comes here and they have a great experience, they could go tell somebody else that, you know what, Sri Lanka's a beautiful country, we should go visit here. And a lot of our Sri Lankan kids living abroad has the capacity to do this if they really want to. And for that, you actually need to stay connected to your roots, and you need to be proud of your country. And we as Sri Lankans should be able to give them that. Give them that support so that they can feel confident enough to do that, and they could be proud of our country. And that's what we are here to do today, to give you the confidence to go and promote our country. Not promote necessarily, but to actually give out your true experience so that somebody else can come and visit us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you haven't visited Sri Lanka yet, get your ticket and come here.